everybody, are you ready to unlock the secrets of looking younger and feeling fabulous? And are you tired of seeing anti-aging tips from women who you know are still in their 30s? In today's video, I'm going to unveil 12 secrets to help slow time and restore your youthful glow. I myself am 59 years old and I am less than 3 months away from that milestone, 60th birthday, and I have compiled a list from the experts and these anti-aging tips. I have tried all of them out yourself, so let's get going and let's start diving into the 12 simple steps to look younger and feel fabulous. Okay, the first tip is very basic. It's to practice good nutrition and hydration. So in your diet, you want to eat foods that are consistent with a good source of protein, healthy fats like avocados and olive oils, lots of fruits and vegetables, and it's important that you avoid processed foods, foods high in carbohydrates, and especially foods that are high in added sugar. Now, it is important to drink a lot of water. You don't want to drink a lot of sodas or drinks with artificial sweeteners. Fruit juices often have a lot of added sugar, so that's why you're best to stay with water. The other thing is this practice helps you to maintain a healthy weight, and a healthy weight, of course, is another secret to looking younger. When you are overweight, you look tired and unhealthy, and if you're too skinny, your wrinkles start to become more prominent because there's not a lot of fat behind it to pad the wrinkles. So staying at a healthy weight because you're eating good nutrition and staying hydrated, that is my first tip to looking younger and feeling fabulous. Now, tip number 2 is to establish a very healthy and consistent skincare routine. Now, I am going to do another video about this in the future, what I use for my skincare routine, but the basics are basically to wash your face every single day with a healthy quality natural cleanser, and also to keep yourself hydrated with your face. I myself use a serum, but you could also use a moisturizer. When I go to Phoenix, sometimes a serum isn't enough because it's so hot and dry, but in Arizona, again, we're in a dry climate. I usually find a serum like a vitamin C serum is very good, and maybe in the evening do some type of a retinol serum, but some type of a good anti-aging serum. And then the other thing when it comes to skincare is to use a lot of sunscreen if you're going out in the sun. If you're going out in the sun and you're in Arizona, definitely want to wear a hat in addition to the sunscreen to keep your face protected, because having too much sun over the years definitely will make your face look a little more dry and wrinkled. Okay, number 3 tip is to avoid wearing too much makeup. For natural appearance, it's good not to wear too much makeup because as we age, it could kind of clump up in the wrinkles. And if you're wearing a foundation, it's important to make sure the color matches your natural skin. Also, as we age, it's probably a good idea to use more liquid or cream foundation than the powder. For some reason, it seems like the powder kind of gets clogged up in the wrinkles and it makes you look more wrinkled. Another thing very important is not to wear the dark rouge, you know, the dark blush. Probably better to replace the dark blush with lighter colors like I've been using like a peach color or lighter pinks on my blush. And then the other thing is not to wear too dark of eyeshadow, not to wear the really thick black eyeliner anymore, and then definitely not too much of that thick black clumpy mascara. As you age, for some reason, the dark eye makeup kind of makes you look a little bit older, like you're not, think of Tammy Faye Baker, right? You know, the big, thick, dark lashes just made her look older, and if you could keep it natural, a little makeup is good, but too much makeup, people will definitely notice and it won't look natural anymore. Okay, my number 4 tip is to make sure your hair is healthy and nourished. It's very important to have your hair trimmed regularly. Probably good to consult with your stylist on what is an appropriate hairstyle for women as we age. We don't want to wear an older, you know, I think of the Rose Mofford. If you're not from Arizona, you won't know who she is, but the old beehive. Get a little bit of a more natural for your age hairstyle. But then again, the long, straight hair that we might have had in our youth, you know, the hair that's down to your bra strap, that doesn't really look as good when we age. Now, if you want to keep your hair gray, that is fine. Just make sure it's always washed and hydrated. There was a very funny skit a few months ago I saw on Saturday Night Live. Now, I live in Sedona, Arizona, and they were making fun of women from Sedona that they all had this long, straight gray hair. So again, the combination of the gray hair and the long straight kind of makes you look older. Now, a lot of women anymore are not dyeing their hair, they're staying with the natural gray, and that is fine. But if you want to dye your hair, then I think a couple of tips to remember there are two things. One is, as we age, for some reason, if you had dark hair in your youth, I used to have very dark hair. You know, I'm Italian, so I had the very dark Italian hair. As you get older, if you dye it to your original natural color, sometimes it looks too sharp, like the contrast to my dark hair and my lighter skin as I aged, it just doesn't look natural anymore. So I have actually toned my hair color down about 2 or 3 shades lighter than it was once. And the other thing is, you got to watch out for when the grays come back, especially if you have very dark hair. Now, I don't know if you've noticed this, but this used to drive me crazy when I would do a video when my hair was much darker. My hair on the top is very gray, and in about 3 days after dyeing it, you would see these gray roots. So that's the other thing about the dark hairs. The contrast with the gray roots is very apparent, but if you are on top of the roots, I actually just do some of the home dye kits. I do it from Sally Beauty Supply, where I'll put like a quarter size amount of dye mixture, and I will just dye this part of my hair every week or so because the contrast is so intense. Now, that is probably a little bit of overkill, but since I'm doing videos all the time and I see it, it just kind of bothers me. Probably other people don't care, but for me, it's like, I hate those dark hair and the light gray roots. It's really obvious. Okay, anti-aging tip number 5 is to make sure you get a good night's sleep. Try to get a good night's sleep every single night. Now, I know as I've gotten older, sometimes I have a hard time falling asleep, but even more often I have a hard time staying asleep. I seem to wake up every single night between 2 and 3 to use the bathroom, and that happens, but the problem is a lot of times I'll come back at 2:30 in the morning and I can't fall back to sleep, and I'm tired as hell, and yet I can't fall back to sleep, and now I'm up at 3 o'clock in the morning, and it totally messes up my day. So I have a couple of tips for this to help you sleep. One is to not drink caffeine after 4 in the afternoon. I used to say after 6, but I think it's after 4. Avoid the caffeine. And the other thing is to kind of slow down your drinking after 6. Maybe keep it to 4 to 6 ounces of a beverage after you've had dinner, so that you are less likely to have to wake up at 3 in the morning to pee, or maybe that you won't wake up until like 4:30 now instead of 2:30. That would help. The other thing is to take a tablet of melatonin before you go to bed. Less screen time, that's a big one. Less screen time, the blue light, whatever, kind of disrupts our sleeping. So an hour before bedtime, they say that you shouldn't be on a screen, and then not watching TV in bed. Okay, number 6 is it's very important for us to get exercise, especially as we age. Now, I have to admit, I am really struggling with this. When I was young, I was actually an exercise fanatic. I used to run 10Ks. I used to ride my bike 30 miles at a time every single day, or at least 6 days a week. I used to exercise for at least an hour, and now I'm really struggling to get myself to exercise. So what you need to know is, as we're aging, it's not important to do a lot of exercise, but to get some exercise to get our blood flowing. So if you could do anything moderate, like going on a walk, or taking a dance class, or just putting on some music and dancing. And that's another thing, is if you could take a class, that's fun, kind of a double whammy, because you can do the exercise and you connect with other people. Now, in about 5-6 years ago, when I lived in Phoenix, I lived close to my mother, and my mother was cognizant. She belonged to Silver Sneakers at the YMCA. That was fantastic. She would go all the time. They would do light exercise, but yet it was the social thing, and I would sometimes join them with the exercise class. And even when I was 50 doing that, it was still fun, and it was better than me sitting on my butt, you know, working on the computer all day, get my blood flowing. But my favorite used to be like the water aerobics. So if you could do a water aerobics class, that would be fun, or just go for a swim. Anything like that to get the blood pumping is good. Helps you, not only your health, you know, keep the blood flowing, but it helps you look younger as well. Okay, number 7 may seem silly, but it's important for you, us ladies at least, to wear a good support bra, a good lifting bra, because nothing says old lady more than when your boobs are hanging down to your navel. Now, I have had this problem since I turned about 50. All the bras that I used to wear, even when they're my size, I feel like after about an hour, I'm like, oh, I'm being strangled by my bra, oh my God. And so I can't even wear the good underwire bras that I wore in my youth, and I'm pretty busty. So I've kind of switched it over to a good sports bra, but I know occasionally if I'm just hanging around the house, I'll wear like flimsy bra, and then I'll go shoot a video forgetting to change the bra, and I'll look at the video, I'm like, holy crap. I'm not gonna reshoot the whole video because of my saggy boobs, but it's really apparent when that happens. So I try to wear a good support bra, but not too good because I don't want to feel like I'm strangling and not able to breathe. So a good bra is very important. Okay, number 8. Maybe sounds silly at our age, but it's very important to manage stress. Stress really takes the years off, not only your appearance, but it can take the years off your life. So find a good stress management routine. I find what works well is doing a meditation every day. Now, I do a lot of the visualization meditations where it's like for instance, right now, I have an offer out in house. I'm a realtor, so I'm doing the meditation. Yes, accept my offer, visualizing them accepting my offer, and us making a deal and closing so I can get paid. But probably for the stress reduction meditation, it's more appropriate for you to do the meditation where you're focusing on your breath, you're breathing in and out, thinking of, sitting out by a stream with beautiful deer grazing, and focusing on your breath, listening to soft music, and that kind of a meditation. But doing that type of a meditation to manage your stress could be very good on the youthful appearance that we are trying so hard to restore. Okay, number 9 is participating in extreme temperature therapies. Now, I have tried this a little bit, but let me tell you what I've read, that it's actually very good for your body to get exposed to very cold temperature and very hot temperature, not for like long periods of time, for like maybe 3 to 5 minutes. An example is if you go into a sauna for 5 minutes, get a little bit warm, or go into a jacuzzi. Again, you don't want to sit in there for a prolonged time because that can make you dizzy, but the exposure to warm temperatures for a while. And then the other thing is what they call like the cold plunge or the cold shower. Again, this is one of the Wim Hof anti-aging. Now, if you've seen Wim Hof, he's in his mid-60s. He looks very young, except for his long stringy hair. If he would get himself a youthful haircut, you probably wouldn't even be able to tell that he's more than 55. He practices the cold plunge, the cold bath, the cold shower frequently, and the breathing exercises, and he looks great. Now, I did the freezing cold shower for 30 minutes before I turned up the water for quite some time. And then after about 3 months, I stopped doing it again. I really didn't have a reason to stop doing it, except that winter came, and then I was starting to get cold and didn't want to deal with the cold shower or the cold bath. But the temperature therapy, giving yourself 30 seconds, 60 seconds, 90 seconds exposed to either extreme hot or extreme cold bath, water, or shower, is supposed to be very good for you. And actually, I think it was working for me when I was doing it, and I might try reestablishing that into my routine. Okay, number 10 is a very important tip. It's to keep your mind healthy. Very important that you do stuff that will keep you mentally cognizant. Probably do things like brain exercises, do memory exercises. Also important that you read and write. Reading and write makes your brain function properly, and for you to learn new things. Learning new things is probably the most important way to keep your brain healthy, because you're establishing these new neural pathways in your brain, and when your brain is working, it will keep you from shutting down and getting the dementia, which will age you very quickly. My mother used to look so fantastic for her age, and within 6 months of her developing the dementia, she looks like a 90-year-old woman now. All right, number 11 seems like very simple advice, but it's avoiding drugs, smoking, and alcohol. Have you ever noticed how people who are smokers, they look so much older because they're all puffing on cigarettes, and then they get all these lines around their mouth. Now, I seem to have the lines around my mouth too, and I was never a smoker, so can imagine if I had been puffing on cigarettes my whole life. So cigarettes definitely not only around your mouth, but it seems to make you look a little bit older, plus you got that smelly stuff in your hair and your skin. Your skin kind of gets this yellow tinge to it, so avoid smoking. The yellow skin and teeth, yuck. And then again, if you've noticed people who are drinkers, they seem to look kind of old for their age too, but the very worst is drug users. I mean, if you've ever seen a meth user, I've seen people who are meth users that are 40 years old and they look about 20 years older than I am. So definitely avoid the drugs. Try not to drink too much alcohol. Of course, alcohol in moderation, nobody cares, but if you're having a down 4 or 5 drinks every single day, that's pretty bad for your health. So avoid all that and stay healthy. And finally, number 12 is to don't act your age. Don't act like an old lady or don't act like an old man. Get rid of that old person mindset. Go out and do things that are fun. Connect with people socially. Stay socially active. Learn new things. Enjoy things. Watch fun stuff on TV and not the news all 24 hours a day. And probably the most important tip, or the easiest tip to make yourself look younger, is if you smile. Just smile at people. Practice smiling. It will lift your mood. It will make people like you more. And then just to smile helps you mentally think that you're younger. So that's it. My name is Dawn Dickinson. The channel is Reflections and Insights for Life Over 55. If you got something out of this video, please do me a favor and like the video, give me a thumbs up, perhaps put out that notification bell, and subscribe, because I post videos like this every single week about topics that are relevant to people over 55. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope to see you back here again next week.